Well, podcasts and Welsh politics, what do they have in common? Well, they're two things that have seen a serious increase in interest in recent times, and now it seems their powers are combining. The last 12 months has seen the launch of a whole series of new podcasts on the subject of Welsh politics. But why is now the right time, and what's the appeal of the medium? Laura McAllister is Professor of Public Policy at Cardiff University and one of the hosts of the brand new The Welsh Politics podcast. Bore da, Laura.
Bore da, Vaughan.
These things, I've got one myself in Welsh, but I mean, they're breeding like rabbits at the moment.
They are, and I have to say, I think that's a good thing. I think what we're doing in Wales, and particularly through the English language, because I think the Welsh language has been reasonably well served, is that we're using a disadvantage in the fact that Welsh politics, and indeed most aspects of Wales, are very poorly covered by the media in general, the conventional media, and particularly the media across the United Kingdom. So the joy of podcasting, of course, is that it's very simple. It's resource light. You don't require any great funding to launch a podcast. And it can be quite niche as well. And it gives us the space to really be innovative and to think about different formats that work better for today's audience. So the more the merrier, I think. I think it's an important development and one that will help Welsh public consciousness more widely.
Isn't the danger, though, that it's just us listening to ourselves? You know, that you said they can be quite niche. There are very popular politics podcasts at a UK level, but I don't think in Welsh terms that anyone has quite yet cracked it in terms of breaking through to the wider electorate.
I think that's probably true, but we're going to have a good go at that. I mean, there's no guarantees, of course, but the nature of the people we have involved, particularly having someone like Laura McAllister, who's not based in Wales and works mainly at a UK level, who's a former special advisor to the Secretary of State for Wales under the Cameron government. Lauren is an important voice about Wales, but in England. And I think she's picking up a lot of interest that's there from the UK media in Wales now. And we shouldn't kid ourselves about why that's the case, because we know that it's because Reform is doing so well in the polls here, and we have an election in 7 months' time, and everyone will be looking to Wales as an example, an illustration of how well Reform can do. But nevertheless, we should piggyback on that interest. I know myself, I mean, I did interviews over the last 10 days with the Times, the Telegraph and the Guardian about Wales. So there is interest at UK level, but we have to tailor the offer and the way we speak about Wales in a way that is relevant beyond the borders of our nation as well, whilst also appealing to a Welsh audience. It's not easy, Vaughan, as you know, but we're going to have a go at that, and let's see if we can make some inroads.
The actual techniques involved, as you say, technically they're quite simple to do, or as simple as you want them to be. You can make them complex if you want. What I find about them is that it's nice just not to have the time constraints. I mean, we're fairly relaxed on this programme on Sunday morning, but even so, difficult to give more than 7, 8, 9 minutes to a single subject or a single topic. It is nice to have the time and the space to do complex issues with the sort of complexities and time to explain the complexities that you don't get on traditional radio.
Exactly that. And I think that's one of our ambitions, is to be able to get under the skin of some issues that are dealt with in a very simplistic way by the mainstream media because of the constraints of time. So you have a 3-minute or 5-minute package on radio, and much shorter on television, of course, where journalists have and commentators have to explain something incredibly complex. I mean, I give you the example of the new electoral system that we will be using in the Senedd elections next May. It's almost impossible to explain that in a way that people can readily understand in 2 minutes. So we can get under the skin of things and talk in a more forensic way about matters like that. But it's really important that this is also relatively light, because people anything too dense and too heavy is going to put people off, and we have to make this accessible. We have to make it intelligible. We have to appeal to a new audience. Or, as you said earlier, we're simply going to be speaking to ourselves. But I would say as well, Vaughan, that, we have different relationships with the media now, I think, as individuals. We listen through our headphones, we listen when we're traveling or out for a run or in the gym or whatever it is. And so we listen to it in bite-sized chunks. We don't have to listen to a whole podcast in one go. And one of the things we're trying to do, obviously, is clips, shorter pieces for social media, so people are tempted in and listen to parts that they want to listen to at their own convenience. And I think that's a big change to the more conventional media.
We'll let you do the commercial break if you like. Your podcast is called Welsh Politics Podcast. First episode dropped on Friday, I think.
It did, and a new episode will drop very early next week, and we're aiming to do as many as we possibly can within the constraints of our diaries in the run-up to the May elections next year.
And other podcasts are available, as they say, including the BBC ones, For Wales, See Wales, Senedd Sources is another one. Just search Welsh Politics on wherever you get your podcasts, I guess.